Welcome to the Pursuit of Productivity podcast. With us today, we have myself, Killian, across from me, Cody, and to his right, Tav. And today, our special guest is none other than Jack B Wiese, owner and runner of the streetwear fashion brand Hermitage, HRMTG. Would you like to introduce yourself, my friend?
Yes, my name is Jack B Wiese. I am a designer and artist, or at least I like to erroneously dub myself those titles. But I own a clothing brand, a vintage online shop, and I also run a design agency for small clothing brands. But yeah, that's a brief synopsis of what I'm about.
And Mr. Wiese, when did you start all this entrepreneurial design
Well,
sort of stuff?
I definitely followed the entrepreneurial path that I feel most people start with, mowing lawns when you're 10, 12, doing yard work for your neighbors. But I'd say my first quote-unquote real entrepreneurial clothing journey started when I was perhaps 15, 16, sophomore year of high school. I turned my passion into clothes and thrifting into an actual income stream that was, buying clothes from, thrift stores, vintage shops, garage sales and whatnot, and kind of curating them and building a theme and really marketing them and, focusing on storytelling and brand building in a bit and just presenting the product in an appeasable way. And eventually I was able to make some decent moves with that. Hannah Maloshe, who's a YouTuber, she bought some stuff, and also Emma Chamberlain followed my shop, so that was pretty good.
Dude, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm still.
That's an achievement right there.
Yeah, I'm still. That's probably my biggest flex to date. Just the fact that she on her phone one day. This is over quarantine. Just she opened her phone one day. Like, it's crazy to me that within a couple of clicks she could see my stuff. Like, she could open an app and click once and see my stuff. That's crazy to me. But
Is that Depop?
yeah, Depop. That was 2021, I think. Still my biggest flex today. I'm still trying to get her to buy something someday, but we'll see.
Imagine she wore it in a post.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Big. I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What one thing or another, what truly inspired you to be like, I want to do this?
I wouldn't say it was a moment of revelation. I mean, the means was definitely a real moment of revelation, but I've always had this characteristic tendency for independence and kind of wanting to do things my own way. I'd say the revelation was realizing that, there's a way to do this through entrepreneurship. I had always been into entrepreneurship too. Like, it sounds corny now, but when I was 10 to probably 13, 14, I would always read, investing books, self-help books. I kind of went through that journey very early on, I feel like, so I knew there was this path available. It was just finding the means within the path, because entrepreneurship is very broad, but you can obviously find specific avenues within this broad path. So it had been there, certainly. I'd say it was just natural, just finding it naturally, I guess, and just learning about it over time, because I didn't do it. I was learning about it, but I didn't really do it for a while, in a few years, because there's not really a whole lot you can do when you're 12 to 14 besides mow lawns and stuff. But I was still...
Steal from your neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Nah, they were literally the type of dudes to say, don't spend that all in one place.
Yeah.
Even though I literally would at the comic book store. Yeah. That wasn't very entrepreneurial of me. I would blow all my money at the comic book store.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I say it was just micro revelations over time, just learning and kind of growing. And there was definitely moments. I'm trying to think if there's any. I'd say there's this YouTuber I used to watch. His name was Paul Cantu. He's a thrifting YouTuber, and that's when that's a very specific example, because that's when I realized that I could sell clothes, or I could make money off my taste for clothes. Clothes I find at Goodwill, I could sell those. So that was probably one of the earliest actual very specific entrepreneurial things. And I guess investing too, oh, it's accessible, I can do it too. This was kind of pre-Robinhood and stuff like that, so investing was still, I was way under 18 at the time, but just realizing that, yeah.
To make an account.
Yeah. Because if I would have started investing then, I don't even think they had Ameritrade or anything. I would have had to have gone to a broker, old school, but yeah, just that YouTuber, and just other YouTubers like that who is reading in a book or hearing about it on a podcast from some millionaire is pretty daunting sometimes, but if you see like a smaller YouTuber or whatnot actually like make money through these entrepreneurial ways.
Like dudes too.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot more accessible and it's more realistic too. They're not touting large numbers like, oh, I did 3 million on Shopify today. They're talking about like having fun and making enough to justify that continued activity. So yeah, I'd say just micro relations. There's definitely like, sorry, go ahead.
So I actually looked on your Instagram, I think it was. He sent me a link to it. What is the message that you're trying to portray with your clothes?
So the message with the clothes is, I'll try not to make this too long-winded, but the abbreviation HRMTG, it's historical reinterpretations made through garments. And basically I want to treat the clothes as like a canvas and a means through visually exploring art history, design history, fashion history, just kind of raising questions on the significance. The overall goal of the brand is to kind of empower the individual to make their own decisions about clothing and kind of define the clothes that they wear and not let the clothes that they wear define them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
By imbuing, these clothes with a higher meaning, or hopefully, and I mean, it means something to everyone, something different to everyone. But this is the meaning that I ascribe to it. I don't harken about it too much in the brand communications just because I kind of want to leave that open to the customer. Like, this is the story that I tell, but I'm not gonna make you think that that's the only thing it can mean. I mean, that is why it's historical reinterpretations, because these are, historical imageries and historical graphics, but they're meant to be reinterpreted, and I have reinterpreted them myself, and they can continue to be reinterpreted. Like, to someone this can mean something, to someone it'll mean something else. I mean, the cycle continues, and that's also a reference to the way that fashion moves. It's reinterprets its past and just reinvents and moves on, and it's continual. Like, even down to the font of my logo, it's Arial, bold, italic, and I have the italic and the bold just to represent the movement of history and fashion. It's always moving forward. It's always bold. It's unapologetic. It's just always in motion. So that's why I like to use the vague historical symbol. That's basically the meaning of the brand, just reinterpreting, moving on, always in motion. I like to use pieces I use designs that are actual silhouettes, like the actual garments themselves are pretty. It's something you can wear while you're in motion and movement. They're not very. They're not very encumbersome. Yeah, they're not very cumbersome. You can wear them while you're active. It's like hoodies, sweatpants, all that for now.
It's like a comical but like almost profound juxtaposition between you built like the accessibility of the clothing juxtaposed with the sort of aristocracy of a lot of the prints you use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to, in a way, almost ironically, blend these high elements of art and whatnot with accessible sweatpants, accessible in means of like how much it requires to really wear. Like, anyone can wear sweatpants, anyone can wear t-shirt, but
a wired dress though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's
a cummerbund.
Yeah, there's this ironic kind of juxtaposition. You've got these overly cumbersome garments depicted on just a simple t-shirt.
Yeah,
it's like kind of a fun juxtaposition, or just like the night graphic that I love to use, or just like a lot of these what I always think of is a lot of these pieces that you see on the runway. They're very cool, but only a certain number of people can wear them. So to get my message to the widest audience possible, I chose to use that were a little bit more accessible in terms of what it required to actually wear, because not everyone's going to feel comfortable wearing the stuff that's more out there, garment-wise, like actual silhouette-wise. So, yeah, that's why I chose. And, it's more active, and it's accessible to more situations, or efficient for more situations. Like after the gym, you can wear it before school, pretty much any time.
You're trying to make high fashion,
accessible all times.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. High fashion, like the metaphysics of high fashion, like the high fashion concept.
Quality of high fashion.
Yeah, like.
But perpetually, as opposed to like weird ensembles that they throw together that like you and I and like normal looking people who aren't models would look goofy in,
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lady Gaga meat suit.
Yeah, what was that?
I might actually be able to pull that off.
Now, Cody, yeah, you could.
Dude, I be seeing stuff on the runway. Like, I've seen some YouTube videos of runways, And some of the stuff on runways, you kind of look at it and you're like, dude, who would wear that?
That's,
you know?
I'm like,
It's like
that's a reptilian.
Yeah, it's like very handful of people would actually wear something like that. So I understand it's all about design and stuff, but I think it's better to make something that everybody can wear. You know?
Realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all definitely about a message. Like when it's on the runway, it's about a message, but I'm trying to like take that message and spread it through means that's a little bit more like appeasable to a regular person. You know, like if you see, say, a specific painting in a gallery, like it's only enjoyed by a few, but if you can take that painting, that same graphic, and put it on, say, a poster or a canvas, I mean, it's the graphic means itself which speak it, if that makes sense. Like you can, but if you put that on a wider, like something that can be diffused more often and just on wider mediums, then, you know, the enjoyment of that piece can really be spread. So yeah, like I'm trying to take what the message, the pieces on the runway are the original artworks. But like, I consider my pieces almost the posters.
Your canvas. The new
canvas. Yeah, like
you're breathing new life into, at one point in history, was like the most printmaking was the most cutting edge technology, like with the Gutenberg press or just printmaking in general before that. So you're almost like, it's a retelling of that story in a contemporary, you know, American, or I guess worldwide, seeing as you had that Irish rapper guy rep your set.
Bro,
way.
You really painted a picture in my mind with those analogies, me guster. I thought it was that very well.
Yeah, when somebody talks about a brand like that, it actually makes me want to buy it more.
Exactly.
Because I don't really like brands that, you know, you're like, there's no backstory to it. Or
no meaning.
Yeah, it's like you kind of look at it, it's like they kind of just threw something together.
Like clothes.
Yeah, I like brands with actual like meaning behind it. So when I wear it, you know, it's like I support this, you know.
Yeah, not print to order. Because with Jack's HRMTG, Hermitage, I like to call it. He prints it all himself.
Really?
He's looking to outsource. However, he's been doing it handmade, as well as he's like catered and designed this like perfect, super high quality, luxurious feeling package experience, which is huge in like aesthetic intelligence and just kind of like making a lasting impression. Would you care to explain why you put so much detail and care into your products as well as package experience?
So I almost like it more than the product itself. I do love the product, don't get me wrong, but it's also about experience. Yeah, it's also about experience too. I mean, people, I think of a good example. I don't think people would buy as much, say, Gucci or Louis Vuitton if the packaging was not up to par of not even what the piece is itself. Like, it can be a dainty bracelet, but the packaging itself just elevates the experience so much more. And the reason I love to put so much effort into it is the more objects you have associated with, you know, your piece, the richer that brand world is, that brand experience is. If it's just a t-shirt and, say, a generic mail or envelope you got from Amazon in bulk, there's no story with that really per se as if you had a custom branding. Like for mine, I have custom zip bag, printed in studio. I have a craft mailer with our logo on, or not our logo, but just a symbol. Yeah, a symbol that we like to use. I include posters with everything. So it just really creates more opportunities for the spreading of your brand. Like somebody can hang up that poster, somebody can give it to a friend. It gives you more opportunities to tell the story of your brand or your business if you really focus on packaging and really allow yourself to invest. I spend a lot on packaging, but I do think it's really worth it because time and time again, I'm always told, oh, this is the best packaging I've ever gotten of anything. And to me, that I'm almost more proud of that than anything else, just because it's just taking all these disparate elements and kind of bringing them together in one experience. You know, getting this tissue paper, getting these bags, getting all this stuff from different suppliers, and just bringing them together into one aesthetic experience that's conducive to you and your brand. And each piece remains an artifact that links back to your brand. Like, say they give away that poster, say they give that bag away to their friend just to use for whatever. Well, guess what? That links back to you. Whereas if you just had the one article of clothing, that's the only. I always think of my pieces and my just anything with my logo on it as an advocate or not necessarily an advertisement, but just as an advocate for my brand and my business.
It's out there.
Yeah, like it's out there. Might as well make it conducive to what it actually is or what it actually stands for. So,
and like speaking of the packaging, you say it kind of like elevates the customer's experience. It's kind of like, you know, getting that new iPhone and the box is just perfect. Just oh, you know, engineered by aliens or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's just I remember as a kid I like open it and just being like so airtight. It'd be so satisfying just it plopping out, you know. And yeah, as a kid it just made me experience that product a little better. So
It makes the product like, you know, look cleaner. Yeah, glass look cleaner. Like I even remember times I'm always like, wow, that's a really nice box it came in. Like I've done that, and it's just like when you get it, it almost makes you like it even more just because of the package. So
Yeah, there's funny enough, usually this is with luxury brands or just brands that want to appear higher status, but I was actually from Costco. I got a box of Harry's Blaze. And the packaging experience was just so memorable because of just the packaging was so cool. I mean, and I bought this bracelet from Cartier. I mean, it's just a dainty silk cord pretty much, but like for this little thing, they had the most package. They had like 3 different boxes. They had a envelope and they had a wax seal stamp on it. Like they did the most for this little thing, but it's just the experience too that you're buying when you buy it too.
Yeah, it's also like that like first impression. Like for example, like you meet your girlfriend's parents, you know, that first impression you give is how they kind of view you throughout. And same with your product. You know, that first impression you get of that product is how they're going to feel about it in the future.
Your brand is an entity. It's like a person interacting with the world. So like, I feel like you putting so much energy and effort into how initially it's perceived, including the packaging, not just the designs, is really helping out with your overall image.
Yeah, the only thing that I sometimes wish was easier is it's hard to communicate that packaging experience as, say, you know, you can throw the clothes on a model. There you go. You communicated the clothes, or at least how they look on body and whatnot. But, I mean, you could do unboxing videos, but, you know, you lose the physicality, I guess, as with any video or picture. But that's where it really comes out is, you know, when you can actually see it in person. That's why I'd like to do more pop-ups, and I'd like to have a retail brick-and-mortar store someday.
Hey, aren't you going to LA this weekend?
Yeah, I'm actually flying out tomorrow morning. I've got a conference there, and I'm going to have a meeting with some clients tomorrow, like 2 or so. But yeah, it should be fun.
I do have a question. What are your greatest challenges you have faced creating your business, or what are some you're currently experiencing?
I mean, I could trace all problems back to me, myself, what I'm willing to put in.
Accountability.
Yeah. I'd say it's definitely creating my portfolio because I have a lot of pieces I need to make for my portfolio, at least probably 300 to 500. Just different garments, like different type of garments, just to show that you can accurately represent all these different types of garments. And I also commodify my portfolio, so I'll sell individual designs as assets that can be downloaded and edited themselves. So that's probably my biggest challenge, and it's also balancing school and this stuff.
Yeah, because you're in school full time, right?
Yeah. I'm a studio art student, so I'm in the studio a lot too. And finding just the energy for all this stuff can be difficult sometimes. Like
I don't even use caffeine.
Yeah, no, I don't. I've
You're
never.
an animal.
Bro, it's different.
I've never had coffee in my life.
really,
Yeah,
Is that like a personal thing or like some sort of belief, or you just haven't had it?
I just haven't had it, and it's just so late at this point. It's like I've had caffeine before on
Like,
like
why start?
5, 6 occasions, but my parents weren't really huge into it. My mom likes iced coffee, and my siblings like coffee.
I love iced coffee. I have a problem.
It's a taste. It's an addiction. So good. Oh, speaking of coffee, is my coffee over there?
Creatine? No coffee.
No, creatine. Oh, sorry, that's irrelevant.
As you were saying.
Yeah, sure.
So what's your advice you could give to people maybe that are in your past position of like trying to create a business? What are some steps they can take if they were wanting to create their own business?
I'd say any entrepreneurial journey begins with really searching within yourself and figuring out who you are as an individual and what you really value. So that way you don't just have an aimless, journey in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is about making money and independence and all that, but you need to find what way works best for you and what really fulfills you, because at the end of the day, if you're just making money, it's not going to be fulfilling, because you'll probably just sink it to materialism and buying things that aren't going to make you happy. It actually has to fulfill who you are as an individual and what you really want more than just material means.
Kind of goes down to spirituality, I guess.
Yeah.
It speaks to a book I've read, like David Deida. I think I mentioned it last podcast, but The Way of the Superior Man. It's like you do not feel fulfilled until you give your gift, and that's entirely unique to you as an individual. And everyone has their own thing they can give. So as long as you don't compromise that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely about retaining who you are as an individual. You don't want to, sell an aspect of yourself just to make money. That's not the goal of entrepreneurship and my goal, entrepreneurship. But yeah, once you kind of figure yourself out, I'd say explore means within your field or your interests that you can make money off of. And also just be wary that it is going to take time. I was playing around with Adobe Illustrator for like 2 years and just kind of conceptualizing stuff before I even made any designs. I was selling clothes too, but like before I actually designed anything or got paid for any of my designs, I was messing around on my computer for 2 years before I even allowed myself the possibility that, hey, I can probably make some decent money with this. I can probably find new opportunities with this, just by myself. I didn't have any bigger ups telling me like, oh, this is possible. I didn't really have any role models in my area because I was in Iowa at the time, kind of middle of nowhere.
It's Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, cornfields. I love Iowa, but it's not really conducive to. It's conducive to entrepreneurship, definitely, but not so much creative entrepreneurship as much.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, once you figure out yourself, kind of just go on your journey. Just do a little bit every day. Definitely learn. Yeah, I'd say learning is the most important thing to do. And even if it's not directly relevant, it doesn't have to be just books about investing, books about business. It can be, philosophy books or just anything that will help you evolve as an individual can be conducive to.
It can provide better service.
Yeah. And also, you got to want to do it. You have to. You have to find the grit within yourself. Rip that shit out and do it. That's all I got to say. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people in my classes now, they're going to be like, I'm eventually going to own my business, I feel like they're just saying that, you got to like want to do it, like not for like, the money or all that other BS and stuff.
Yeah, so many people be waiting for it to like fall into their lap instead of like actually going out there and doing it. They kind of just sit there and like, okay, it's just kind of fall into my lap, and then I'm gonna start doing it.
Yeah, they just wait for their opportunity.
Yeah. No, the number one thing I would want to tell people is it takes time, patience.
Yeah, nothing good happens overnight, and rarely it does, only by luck. But you don't want to wait on that 1% chance because it most likely will never happen.
In my opinion, anything worth doing is hard. With most things, I think anything worth doing is hard. Yeah.
Like abs wouldn't be worth shit if everyone had them,
Yeah.
It's like monkey has one banana is valuable, but monkey has 400. Nope.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Bananas.
You worked hard for those bananas.
Precisely.
Yeah. I like that.
So has this brand become a good like passive income,
Well, not yet.
or is that what you're working towards?
Yeah, the most valuable source of income right now is definitely my design agency, because these assets I was talking about earlier, each one makes me passive income, and it's a digital asset, so it's unlimited. I can sell 1,000 in one day, whereas if I sell 1,000 shirts, I'm out of those shirts. So that way, it's my biggest money producer, whereas the brand, it's my biggest money
Sucker.
Consumer.
Yeah, I don't want to say pit because that implies it's never gonna be that money.
There will be a point of exponential
It's
growth.
Yeah.
investment.
The way I'm running it right now, though, it's pretty flexible in the terms of upstart cost. But I've made back a fairly good amount. But yeah, anyway, my design agency is definitely my best one too, because with that, I don't have to deal with overhead. I don't have to deal with product. I mean,
digital product.
I do, but it's digital, yeah. And then I do the way I make money with that is I do freelance, and then I also sell my assets. So with the other income stream from that, I'm just trading my time. But most of the time, I just like to create those assets because, like I said, each one is just a passive income asset. And I have probably 50 right now, and I have them for sale on, I believe, 6 or 7 different marketplaces. And eventually, I'm gonna go into marketing and all that. That's my summer project because that's a lot more time consuming. That's why I don't do it as much.
Managing like advertisements and campaigns and like split testing and stuff.
And just creating the assets too, because I make everything super detailed because I want it to be the best on the market. And I do believe it is. That's why I get hired by some of the individuals I do, just because I'm willing to put in the extra time and the extra effort. But yeah, this summer I'm probably gonna finish up my portfolio. But yeah, that's all passive for the most part, like 90% passive. So I just collect those royalties and stuff.
Out of curiosity, do you have OCD?
I might, honestly. I either have OCD or I'm just really passionate sometimes. I don't know. Maybe there's not a difference.
I feel that if you're like putting something into the world, you want to make sure it's like reflects well on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely want it to be of higher quality because I don't see a lot of. That's why I created them myself in the first place. Like they sell these online, but what you use these templates is just to get stuff designed. It's basically a blueprint for a garment. Is basically what they are. And also you can send them to like a screen printer with your design on it or whatever.
The measurements will and know exactly where to place it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a template for people to use. And the reason I created them in the first place was because there wasn't really that many good ones out there. So it was just like, screw it up.
Most likely proprietary.
Yeah.
Ones anyway.
Yeah.
So you saw a problem, made a solution pretty much.
Yeah, basically. And
like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna fully flesh out that solution soon. I mean, I'm gonna do like Patreon, all that stuff. I'm making my website. I do a couple subscriptions right now, but I'm definitely gonna put full Jack B Wiese force into it this summer, and hopefully build up enough of a passive income stream where I don't have to worry too much about trying to do much freelance anymore.
Yeah, so you can focus more on your core business.
Yeah, exactly.
So in 20, 30 years, you know how people, they make one business and then they tend to make another one. Do you think you would do that?
Okay, so sorry, what was the question?
Okay, so many entrepreneurs, they don't just make one business. They tend to make more and more because, passive income, it just creates more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, would your goal be to create all these multi-business ideas?
I'd say it depends on how many of my fashion and design goals I've reached, because I do see myself doing it for the rest of my life, but not for money, just to get to a certain point and just be for my own enjoyment. I don't ever want to retire per se. I want to keep doing it, but not, by an intense need for money. I obviously want to be very financially secure, but personally, I have no intense desire to be a billionaire. I'd be more than happy with.
That's a target on your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be more like financially stable.
Yeah, exactly.
You need money to be comfortable in today's world.
Yeah, I don't really want to be a Giorgio Armani. He's worth probably $12 billion or something. But it just shows that it's possible to do with fashion and design. But honestly, I want to write books and stuff.
I feel that.
Become like an author, or just write more, or just write for myself. Just retire to the English countryside and just write all day, or just travel the world. And it may be design for some brand once in a while. Something like that would be cool. But my main goal is in the fashion industry to get stores, or get multiple stores. So I definitely would still be running those. And then just brands on the runway and stuff too. Like maybe own a few, but I don't really need to be Ralph Lauren level or anything like that. Definitely still would be doing it, but I'd probably be semi-retired. I'd like to semi-retire at 30 or 40.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Not have to work at 30, but you're choosing to. That's my
life.
Yeah.
This fashion can be very stressful. Like if you're the head of some fashion brand, you're having to turn out hundreds of designs a day. Stuff's going wrong with production. You're on the runway fixing the models. Like,
do you want that?
maybe for a little bit,
Yeah.
but not for long.
Yeah. I feel like you can't sustain that.
Yeah, there's this designer I like. His name's Raph Simmons, and he actually just ended his brand. And he's only like 45 or 50, but he used to be an industrial designer. But
Has he sold it, or is he
he
just
just ended it. No, he just said,
we're done?
yeah.
That's funny. Was it still profitable?
Yeah. No, he's in good standing. Like, he's not some washed.
Familiar.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Yeah.
He's in a couple of, he's mentioned in a couple A$AP Rocky songs.
Yes.
So
Yes.
That's probably why. But, yeah, no, he was in good standing. I'm pretty sure he was doing fine financially, the business-wise. He just didn't really want to see. Because what happens with a lot of these designers is, the longer they're in the market, the more,
Jaded.
yeah, like they end up in, say, like Macy's or clearance racks. And
Yeah.
a lot of designers don't want that. I mean, it's good for the business per se, but like the ideological, they don't really want to see their, like they just, once you get to a certain age with design, they just throw your name on stuff just to sell it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even stuff you designed anymore. Like, once company gets to a certain size.
You can't review everything.
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't want to get too big. I'm fine with being a smaller level. As long as, yeah.
Like the brand Guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Guess around a couple places, but it looks like they just throw it on there. I mean, I know it's a pretty big brand.
It's starting to get a little saturated.
Yeah, it's like they just throw it on a plain T-shirt, just Guess, and then you see another one that has like a little something different, and it's like the same thing. And it's like, did they even really design this?
Mm-hmm.
So, I like seeing stuff that's like unique.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
But I think Calvin Klein has kind of gone like that too. You kind of see Calvin.
Same with Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy.
Even Ralph.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they just slapping stuff on T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, once you get to a certain size, it's really difficult not to,
Yeah.
for sure.
I just have a question.
Easy. No, saying. Oh, you're good. You're good.
I do have a question though. So a lot of brands, there's like a lot of excess waste with material and whatnot. I know at this scale, this level of the game, it's kind of hard to manage. But like, would that be a part of your, like, I guess, pathos of your brand to have a sort of like upscale, zero carbon, recycled materials, or is that like not too big on your concerns?
I've tried to embed it in my brand DNA. I actually have in my business kind of plan formation that I'm largely going to rely on what's called pre-orders, and that's where the customer orders the piece and then it's put into production. Because what's usually the deal with the fashion industry and most industries in general is they make bulk orders before they even have any orders from, say, retail stores or customers, DTC, before they even have any orders in that. But what my brand is doing, and a lot of other brands do this too, which I really like about the startup streetwear industry, is because it's really kind of pushing this to the norm, hopefully. But is you take and collect orders from, say, retailers, and they've been doing this in retail for a while, but it really hasn't been done with DTC yet, which is a lot of
Direct to consumer.
Yeah, direct to consumer, and a lot of these other brands are doing, which is good to see. And I'm starting to see larger brands do it, but it's just collecting orders and then putting it in production. Like, there is downsides, there's longer waits, obviously, if you don't have something on hand. It'll take a few weeks to ship. I mean, there's some brands notorious for almost never shipping their stuff, but so there is drawbacks, but it's much more environmentally friendly because you're creating exactly what is wanted, the exact amount. Yeah, there's almost no waste. I mean, unfortunately,
we're cutting fabric,
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of waste in the production, but at least it's something that will be appreciated more and cherished more just because it had to be waited for so
sought after.
Yeah, it's waited for longer. It's more, it's usually rarer because the way they do these drops is they'll, you can only buy it for a specific window of time, and then they close it because they just can't have continuous ordering of this thing. They have to, have a short window of purchasing, and then they just make it.
Doesn't TJ Maxx and Marshalls, all the bulk stuff from different companies actually goes to TJ Maxx?
That's their business model. Yeah.
Yeah.
They buy it for cheap since no one wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if everyone did pre-order, they'd go out of business.
No, they'd be out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say.
Well, what individual or person would you say, in your experience, has impacted you the most on your entire perception of the world, as well as your business plan, beliefs, and just design in general? If you had to pick one.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
You had to pick one.
There's
Okay, you get two. You get
two.
You get two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say Vivienne Westwood.
Vivienne Westwood.
Yeah, she's a British designer. She passed away not too long ago, actually.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, she's one of the only designers like I actually cared to learn about. You know, other people I find interesting and whatnot.
And what's she responsible for? Was rather.
Basically, what I love just like 17th, 18th century historical fashions and reinterpreting them for the modern era. Basically, that's at the core of what she is. And just punk, she was behind that. The punk aesthetic in the 70s.
Oh yeah, like the English punk with like spikes.
Sex Pistols. Like she was all the Sex Pistols and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd say her, and there's this author named Walter Benjamin. Just the aesthetic considerations behind fashion and the way it moves. But
could you name a book he's written? Because I'm not familiar.
Tiger Sprung is the one that I have. It's very loaded. It's I love it because it blends psychology, sociology, philosophy, historiography with fashion, because fashion isn't really something that's taken seriously academically.
I'd say it's a reflection of the thoughts and like perceptions of the people of the times.
Yeah.
It kind of reflects how they would feel and think.
Yeah, that's exactly what he goes into. One of the aspects at least of what he goes into, just because I love reading, and I love when something is taken seriously academically and seriously considered, just because fashion is always seen as frivolous, like, oh,
yeah,
what people wear, it's just clothes. But really, I almost like fashion as a process more than I care about like designers and stuff. I just love like observing just the way it moves, its history, the way new things are made. That's why I made the brand.
Yeah,
the historical reinterpretations.
That's the thing.
Made through garments.
All things that are circulating in art, any field of art, including fashion. It's like, there's a book about this, Steal Like an Artist. It's just repurposing older things in a new way. Like you're synthesizing based off the previous inputs.
Yeah, I'd say that's why I'd mark him as an influence. I mean, neither of them are very entrepreneurial. In fact, they're probably quite opposite. I mean, they have the type of entrepreneurship that, like, they do it, but they're not really
in it for the money.
Yeah, which they're kind of, I don't know. She always complains about how she thinks her company was too big and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Imagine complaining about your company being
making too much money.
Darn it! It's all this money I hated.
Yeah, she loves. I mean, she'd probably just be inside all day with her books. That's the type of. Yeah. She was very old. I mean, I get it. She just rode her bike still. So, I mean, yeah. I'm sure it's different mindsets over there in England.
How many not celebrities, how many designers have you like actually met? Have you met any?
No. I'm sure I'll meet some this weekend, but
it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know. They're always low key. Like, it's not like they're like an athlete or a rapper or a musician. You know, you see them in public, you recognize them. I mean, most of the time we're pretty shy for the most part. I mean, I post up sometimes on the gram and whatnot, but I mean, if I was like, I mean, that'd be kind of nice because you could, your name could have clout. Like, I'd maybe recognize Ralph Lauren and maybe recognize Tommy Hilfiger, but like besides that, maybe some of the niche designers that I like, but I'm talking big brand designers. I'm not sure I'd recognize a lot of them, and that's probably nice because you getting paid like you're an A-lister, but you can probably go to McDonald's still and
not get mobbed with just crowds of people because you're not a public figure per se yet. Your work is still influencing the public.
Yeah, you have name recognition, but not necessarily facial recognition.
Yeah,
it's more power behind the brand.
And if people do recognize you, they probably
care about your stuff.
Like if you really, I mean, I'm sure there was pictures of Calvin Klein all over magazines. I personally won't recognize him. I don't know what he looks like.
I think what he looks like. I can't think. I know what Ralph Lauren looks like.
He's like a short guy with white hair, but as for Calvin, no idea.
Yeah, I would. It's like Ralph Switz or something. That's his real name. But yeah, I definitely recognize him. But I would not recognize probably many other like star tier designers, like billionaire designers. I'm not sure I'd recognize many, which would probably be unfortunate because imagine meeting one, that'd be crazy.
And you'd be willing to talk to, like how much you could learn.
Yeah.
Who's the designer at Burberry?
I don't know. They have new creative directors all the time.
I know the CEO is like some woman.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, a lot of those brands, they change out creative directors like every 3-4 years just to keep things fresh. That's actually one of my goals in fashion, is to become a creative director of some brand I like. My dream job would be working with a small brand that has a lot of potential.
Growing.
Just, bringing them up, because I love working with histories that already exist and just kind of
Adapting it.
yeah, or just like even working with individuals and showing them their potential and stuff. I think that's really fun.
Would you
really
do
good feeling.
coaching or just be like an independent?
Definitely coaching. I was actually seriously considering that in the future, like as I build this design agency and maybe hire employees and
Coaching company.
yeah, like there was a book I was reading, and one of the ladies in it, she ran a fashion consulting agency. I was thinking like I could make that an aspect of my business, consulting, coaching. I actually do that right now. I include it with my clients.
What's it called?
It's just included with the packaging. Like if a customer comes to me for, say, some design documents, I'll include it for free just because, I have to charge correlative to what I am. I'm still, pretty small and whatnot, so I'm not going to charge you $200 an hour or something like that. But I include it for now. But yeah, I definitely want to make that an aspect, and even for free too. Like I was telling you about that SCORE mentor thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this website. It's called SCOREorg, I believe. But they've got like free mentorships on there, like volunteers. Yeah, you guys should.
Big thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, because like it would be like Fortune 500 company CEO available.
Wants
this
to give
Tuesday.
back.
Yeah, like
Really?
they'll give free advice, like lawyers, accountants, just random people. Those
Why don't they tell you that in school?
I don't know. I didn't know about this until I read a business book, and this was like from 2013. So the book is from 2013, but I read it recently, and I thought maybe it'd be like outdated or something. But no, they still on it too. Yeah, and it's not just old people. There's like people who are like 30s, 40s, like people still working.
Hitting their stride.
Yeah. So I mean, if you just need general business advice, retirement advice, investing advice, I mean, there's so many niche people on there. It's kind of cool. Like there was one of the people I remember, he was a cook who owned like a few different restaurants. I don't know, this random, like any niche could probably find their person. The one of the guys that I talked to once in a while, he's been doing e-com basically since it was a thing. E-commerce was a thing pretty much. He's been doing like 20, 30 years. I mean, he probably saw it come into existence.
Since eBay, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I mean, right now I'm not to the scale that his advice can really be relevant just because I'm not really doing it like the old school way. But I mean, it's still nice just to have somebody like that in your like email list. Or oftentimes too, they give out their numbers. So I mean, it's surprisingly,
You can build a network.
yeah, it's
Everything's really friendly.
yeah. I know. Every time I go in there, I'm just taken aback by how available these people make themselves. I'm in my back of my head, I'm like, I'm not sure I'm not gonna get a bill because this shit too good to be
Too
true.
valuable.
The connections are really important.
Yeah.
Just like
That's how you can really grow a business, is connections.
Just what you know till you know.
I'm surprised they don't even talk about it here. Like,
that's how I kind of think about college. I'm not necessarily going here just for school, just to get a degree so I can work under someone. I'm doing it so I can find the right people, so I could get the right advice on how to succeed.
Yeah, you never know.
Maybe even give some good advice to someone else who wants to succeed.
That's what happened to my brother the other day, actually. He just got a job despite having no experience and no degree in digital realty. They do data management and like storage for TikTok. Just because he knew it was like a family friend. He just referred him. He had a good interview, and now he's like has a starting job with like a killer salary. So it's just
Connections.
it's connections.
Just like when I did HVAC, I didn't know anything about HVAC, but I knew the guy like my whole life, and he gave me a job.
Yeah, this kindness pays dividends.
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of gratitude goes a long way.
Exactly.
Happiness.
What's your favorite brand? Like all-time favorite brand?
I say considering like my whole life and what I've worn my whole life, probably just Ralph Lauren. I still wear it a lot.
Classic.
Yeah.
That shirt, Ralph Lauren?
No, this is Burberry. I do wear Ralph Lauren sweaters all the time still though.
The bear. I love the bear ones.
Yeah, those go hard. Just like considering what I've worn all my life, like I wore that a lot as a kid because my mom used to work at Macy's. But I say yeah, probably Ralph Lauren, or I don't know. I love random stuff. Like I still love to thrift a lot and just buy clothes I don't even
That's
know
the move.
brand. Yeah,
Cheaper. It's just
Cheaper clothes are made better.
like
much nicer.
I'm pretty sure these jeans are from Kohl's from the 90s.
Hey, they're hard though.
Yeah, like these shoes are.
Tell them about the shoes. Show them the shoes.
Yeah, these shoes are from.
Whip them out right now. The dogs.
These shoes are these are actually like 70s German army trainers, Austrian army trainers, I believe. I bought them on Etsy.
Holy shit, dude. What size are you?
13, right?
I wear 13 to 15. If I like the shoe a lot, I wear 15. I was a size 15 shoes just because it was cheaper.
You know what big feet means? Big sacks.
Yes, sir. Always stay in that white Nike crew sock.
Fold it down.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Have to.
Essential.
Oh,
What?
about it.
Mike's trying to crumble his neck.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
See. That pick up?
You can't forget the back.
I hope that picked up.
Oh.
Sounds like a WWE finisher right there.
But, so, what else do you have cooking? What's coming up? Don't you have a drop coming up?
Yeah. I'll have my Ivy collection, everything green. You know how I'm feeling.
And when's the date?
420.
And it's green.
Everything green. Nah, I don't even.
It wasn't intentional, but
Kind of crazy incidents.
No, I was like, I'm gonna drop because I want to give myself 30 days to run ads and all this stuff.
you're doing that with the Meta, right?
Yeah, it was on your
Yeah.
website. They
Yeah,
3-day countdown or something.
yeah. But basically, I want to give myself enough time for promotion. I knew it was gonna drop in late April, and I didn't want to just choose some arbitrary date like April 29th. I kind of wanted to choose something that was fun, a little memorable. People would be kind of paying special attention that day anyway. It's just not another monotonous day. There's actually something, going on that day, even if it's something that people don't really partake in. It's a funny day, like, it's 420.
We would have done April 30th. That's my birthday. I would have remembered that day for the rest of my life.
Yeah, shit. There's probably like 2% of people who got a birthday on some random
Yeah.
day. So even,
That's my birthday.
yeah.
No, but any closing statements as well as plugs you'd like to make?
Can I plug my Instagram?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
My Instagram is at Jack B Wiese, Wiese. Yes, sir. You can find my other entrepreneurial ventures on there.
Like
Closing
tree?
No Linktree, but I just have the ats of the other
Gotcha.
two things. I'd say closing remarks is go learn something new today.
Word. And you two, would you like to plug yourselves real quick?
IG Cody CODY _Faust FAUST _.
Move stupid large weight.
IG Russia.the.man.
Lucia. But yeah, well, thank you so much for coming today. It was an absolute joy talking to you, blessing us with your knowledge.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Hey, of course, sir. Sir. And we hope you enjoyed episode, I guess, 2. Yes, episode 2 of the Pursuits of Productivity podcast. Cartland, the person who graciously lets us use the space, ushered me to hurry it up. So, or else we could talk to you all day. But
there's lots. I have a lot of half-cooked thoughts to.
I know. I wish we could talk longer.
Yeah.
Hey, you can come back.
Hey, featuring next episode sometime in the future.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Return after the release.
Jack.
So what now?
So Return of Jack.
Return of the Jack.
All right. Well, be sure to check out my boy Jack at his brand, hrmtg.com, right? Because you got rid of that previous.
OUI-HRMTG.com. We.
I saw that. I saw that on there.
Yeah.
All right.
It kind of made me giggle when I saw that.
You know what to do. Peace.